Hey guys, this is me Leeson with part 3 of HTML create a cookie clicker site. Within this part we will be adding a new upgrade, being the farm, which is going to help us distinguish if the cookies per second counter is working, and when you add future upgrades it's going to allow this to be accurate, which I'll just give an example so you know what I'm on about. So we're going to go one auto clicker, so we own one, that's going to give us a 1 cookie per second. And if we get a farm, the price obviously going to go up like the other upgrade, but instead we're going to be earning 2 cookies per second each upgrade of that. So the more upgrades you have, you can make it so it earns maybe 10 cookies per second, 20 cookies per second, etc. So in part 4 we'll be covering a multiplier, which is going to allow times 2 of this to be earned. So it's going to be, instead of 7, it's going to be 14 if you buy the times 2 upgrade, and then each time you upgrade that it's going to give you more. We're also going to attempt, not confirmed, attempt, because I haven't tried this yet, but to make it so the amount of cookies you get per each item is at a different rate. So let's say you buy a farm, you're going to earn 2 cookies every 1.5 seconds, or maybe something along those lines. And if we have enough time in part 4, we'll probably do some CSS styling to finish up the series, but if not, we'll do that in its own video for part 5. So let's jump right into the episode right here and create ourselves a new upgrade. While I type this, like the farm, I'm just gonna apologize for the delay between this episode and part 2, because it's been almost like a month, so sorry for that. If you still are watching the series, it's good to have you back for part 3. If you're new, make sure to jump to part 1, I'll include that in the description below with a playlist. Anyway, so we've already got ourselves an image for this, which is a farm PNG, which I used in the example. We're going to set the width and height. I'm not even sure what the size of it is, so this may look really bad, but that's all we need for that. So now I'm going to create our 2 paragraphs, which is going to tell us the cost and the amount we own. So we're going to go 15 cookies, new paragraph with ID amount farms, you own 1 farm, you own 0, you own 1 farm, you own 2 farms. Right, this may be a bit of a problem, we're gonna just do it like that for now. Oh no, we can just do you own 0. Yeah, what am I on about? Ignore me, guys. Right, so now we've created that, we're gonna create our JavaScript function in our little script tag underneath. So continuing after the by auto click function, let go by farm, create our curly brackets. If the amount of cookies they own is equal to or higher than, it would normally be 15, but that would only be for the first upgrade, so then each upgrade after the second farm will be still 15. So we need to change that to be the amount they own. So let's say they own farms. Did I even create that? No, I didn't. Well, I'll create that now. Var farms equals 0. So then farms plus 1, because obviously it can't be 0 times 15, so it will be 1 times 15, but then we need to also bracket this in on its own so it doesn't cause any problems. Some more curly brackets, which is what the if statement is going to run if that is correct, and if so it's going to go cookie count, so they're going to lose their cookies. So let's say they have 15, so it will be 15 equals 15 minus, and then the same as above, so the amount of farms they have plus 1 times 15. Let's colon that off, and we also want to actually give them their farms, so farms plus 1, and then run the update function, which is going to allow everything to update, which is up here, no, up here, sorry. So now we've done that, let's just see if that's it. Okay, yeah, size isn't too great. Let's try change the width to 50, height to 60, Okay, maybe 50. 50, 50. Let's try that. So now that should do. Find that size. It's probably not too great, but we can deal with that. So now in the save and load, we want to save the amount of farms they own. So we're gonna set to the local storage. Oh, I forgot the L. Local storage dot set item farms comma farms. No, that's gonna set that. So now for loading, we're gonna have to go farms equals local storage dot get item farms, and then we're also gonna have to do some wonderful parsing, or however you want to say it, passes. I'm just gonna say pass. So it passes the variable and it's gonna change it into an integer. So we need to pass farms. I believe that's up. Yeah, farms. Now that should be an integer, and then it's gonna update the amount they own. So we'll need to go into update to do the next part. So in update, we want to go document dot. Oh, we'll just separate this on its own. Document dot get element by ID. Amount of farms. I don't know if I'm spelling this right, but farms in a HTML equals you own, then plus farms plus farms. So that's gonna say, let's say they have 2 farms, it's gonna then, when they load up and update, it's gonna say you own 2 farms. Now we need to do the same, but this time for the cost. So we're gonna go cost farms dot did I actually call it cost farms? Cost farm. I'll just change it to farms. Equals, and then don't need any speech marks, but it's going to be the same as down there. So it'll be farms plus 1 times 15 plus cookies. So pretty much this is just almost copy and paste of this, but just changing variable names. Now that should be fine, but it's not going to give them any cookies because it's not adding on every time the timer's going. So we need to go cookie count equals cookie count plus farms times 2 though, because if we're wanting them to get 2 cookies, we're gonna have to give them times times 2. So if they own 2 farms, they're gonna get 4 cookies. If they own 4 farms, they're gonna get 8 cookies, etc, etc. So that should be everything there. So I think that's actually that, but we need to add the cookies per second count. So that is gonna be added above the auto clicker. Wait, no, above the cookie, sorry. So pretty much as soon as the body tag opens up. So we're gonna go paragraph. We're gonna have to give it an ID so that we can refer to it when we update and buy more stuff. So ID equals, let's go for cookies per second. That looks quite messy, but it'll do the job. So inside here we're gonna go, you are gaining 0 cookies per second. Now that's fine, but we need to update that. So let's go back to update and go document.getElement by ID. Cookies per second dot inner HTML equals you are gaining. Now this is going to be a bit messy, this part, a lot of brackets to come, so we need 3 brackets. Oh, click. So the amount of auto clicks they have plus the amount of farms they have times 2. Let's zoom this out a bit. Oh, I have pressed something by mistake. Let's just wait for it to reload. Okay, there was no issue, it's just that I didn't click on it. Anyway, so just enter this so it looks a bit nicer. Auto click plus farms times 2. Let's hit this bit and then we're going to go times multiplier, because if we want a multiplier later on, and then we can just easily add that in. And we need to add on to the end cookies per second. So let's actually make that a variable. Var multiplier equals 1. So we're not timesing it by nothing. I hope I've spelled that right. So let's just show the brackets out. So we've got that, which is start and end. This bit, which is all of that. That's just that. That's just that. Okay, so that should be fine. So let's just backspace this and like that. So that actually should be the cookies per second. I don't know if it's right, but we're gonna check it. So, no, yeah, we need to fix this. So after it updates every second, it's gonna take this with 0. But if we want it to start with 0, we can go to the input type and in here put value equals 0. That should work. Yeah, value equals 0. This bit we can just set to 0 cookies if we want instead of cookie game, so it doesn't just cut like that. So let's go 0 cookies. Okay, that's just the file name beforehand. So let's buy 12 cookies. I mean, get 12 cookies and buy 1 auto clicker. We're getting 1 cookie per second. That's good. So let's get 15. And then buy. You own 1 farm. 30 cookies. You're getting 3 cookies per second, and that's going up in freeze, so that's fine. So now if we save it, refresh and try load that, that is going to all our stuff back. So that's actually it for today's episode. But before we finish off, something's just bugging me this little bit here that I want to add a breakpoint in between. So let's go to here, just add a breakpoint because that is getting on my nerves. And then if we go back here, we have now got this, and I accidentally refreshed brackets, so that's going to load back up. So that is everything for today's episode. Like I said at the start of the episode, in part 4 we'll be working on a multiplier system, which we added that variable in for. So instead of 3 cookies per second, it will add a little times 2 for the multiplier, so therefore they'll be getting 6 cookies per second instead. We're going to work on some CSS styling if we have time after we attempt to add delays for the cookies to come in. But if we were to add delays, that would mess up our cookie count, so we'll have to see if that's going to be in part 4 when I do the episode. If it is, then part 5 will be the CSS styling. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Links in the description to the other parts and the new parts that are to come if you're watching this when they're out. Anyway, have a good time. Subscribe and like the video if it helped you out. This has been It's Me.